Alright, thanks here. Welcome to Let's Play Star Wars Rogue Squadron Part 2. This time around, we're going to be flying an A-Wing to find some ship known as Nonnah, which crashed. And it has, apparently, rebels or stuff that could help us in our fight against the Empire. And there, so naturally, the Empire would want it. So we have to go fight off the Empire and stop them from wanting it. So in this level, we fly the incredibly fast, the incredibly maneuverable, but at the same time pathetically weak A-Wing, a fighter that barely has any kind of shielding whatsoever. Just 2 hits and it gets killed off completely, and to make matters worse, it doesn't even have an astromech droid and an R2 unit in it, because the X-Wing has an R2 unit in it, which repairs its, how do I say this? It repairs its shields as you get damaged. You get damaged and R2 unit's still fine, it repairs your shields for you. But A-Wing, there's none of that on the A-Wing, so if you're in an A-Wing, you get shot at or destroyed, you're pretty much dead. That's what happened to that Knievel guy, whatever his name was. That guy that crashed the A-Wing into the bridge of the Star Destroyer Executor in that Return of the Jedi movie. Yeah, that's exactly what became of him. Of him using an A-Wing, which obviously got shot down, because A-Wings are like that. A-Wings are pathetically weak. So we have to find this Nonnah ship. We don't know where it is exactly yet, and their compass isn't really telling us where it is, because their compass doesn't even really know where it is either. Oh, I think it just found it. Oh no, it's just a probe droid. The Empire seems to treat probe droids in this game as if they're real soldiers that are actually capable of, combat, real head-on combat. How cute. A probe droid that thinks it can devastate the rebellion. Yeah, wait till you get a starfighter in there. Starfighters devastate completely. And we also have homing concussion missiles on the A-Wing, which they're not as powerful as proton torpedoes. What do you expect for a small maneuverable fighter? The A-Wing's is primarily a dogfighting ship, a ship intended for dogfighting. And there's some dogfighting in this game, but the X-Wing is pretty much just as good for that. I don't even know what the purpose of the A-Wing really is for a mission. I think it's just to mix it up. And most of the time I'm going to be using, even though I've completed every level in the game, I can use any craft available. For the most part, I'm still going to use the default craft for almost levels of this game. There'll be a few times where I won't, and you'll see why in those future videos. But for now, we're sticking to the default craft, the A-Wing. It's also very similar to the Jedi Starfighter, which we'd later see in the Star Wars Episode 2 movie, and we'd also later see it in the Star Wars Jedi Starfighter game, which I plan on doing an LP of that game sometime in the future too. So for now, yeah, we're stuck with the original Rogue Squadron. I really to LP the other Rogue Squadron games too, but I don't know. Rogue Squadron 3 is kind of abysmal in terms of the types of missions it gives you. And that game, actually, it was like Star Fox Adventures, I think is what it was called, where they expand on just, instead of just simply flying a ship and shooting down bad guys like what you do in this game. In Rogue Squadron 3, they introduced ground combat, kind of like in Star Wars Battlefront, where there's a ground combat. They even introduced lightsaber combat and force moves, which I think kind of sucks that they did that, actually. I really don't think that was necessary. They should have just focused more on what made the first 2 games good. This is what Rogue Squadron's good at. If you want flight combat, play a Rogue Squadron game. If you want Jedi combat, then play a Star Wars Jedi Knight game or something like that. And if you want good ground combat, then you get that's what Star Wars Battlefront is for. So as you can probably guess, I kind of have been in the mood for Star Wars lately, because I've been LPing quite a few Star Wars games lately. Just a few months ago, I did an LP of Star Wars Rebel Assault 2 on the PS1, and I also months ago I did an LP of LEGO Star Wars 2, as you probably recall. And then, well, I have some more Star Wars games planned. I thought I'm doing an LP of Star Wars Episode 1 Jedi Power Battles, but that game is also like this, is similar to this, in which it has very abysmal moments of the game, parts of the game that I'm pretty sure weren't properly programmed. And I know, because I took a course in programming once. I took a few of them back in high school. I know quite a bit about game design, game development, software development, programming, computer coding. I know the works, well, some of it actually. I've worked with JavaScript before. Heck, my DeviantArt username is written in JavaScript. So yeah, of course I use JavaScript. JavaScript is actually if you know JavaScript, it's actually very efficient. Sometimes even more efficient than just simply writing names in traditional context. Because, if everyone wrote their name in JavaScript where the first letter of the name is lowercase and all lowercase, then you don't use spaces and every word afterwards in uppercase. If everyone wrote their name like that, it'd be easier to read names sometimes. And if you put numbers on the end too, it could easily identify yourself over other people. That's what numbers are for. Besides, so, because a lot of people have the same name. I'm sure there's a lot of other people called Ray Phoenix. Apparently, there's people on DeviantArt called Ray Phoenix that are not me. That's why I had to call myself Ray Phoenix 01. Apparently, there's a lot of other people on DeviantArt called Ray Phoenix. People that clearly stole my name and used it on there before I did. So, we protected the Nonnah, we defended them, and now the mission is pretty much completed. Mission complete. Of course, what do you expect? You're going to be seeing that at the end of every mission of this game. If you didn't see that at the end of every mission, that means you didn't complete the mission. So now, next we're going to our first speeder level. The first time in the game we're going to be using the speeders. That's called the speeder. It's more commonly referred to as the snow speeder. It's most famous for being in Empire Strikes Back when they used them to tie down those big walker tank things they had on Hoth. And we'll be using it quite a bit in this game. There's actually a lot of levels in this game actually that require the use of the speeder. And again, we're just playing defense again. The Empire wants something on Corellia, the homeworld of Han Solo and Wedge. And now we have to defend it from, of course, guess who? It's not the Empire. It's the Empire, of course, but it's not anyone else, because of course it would be the Empire. Who else? Space pirates, Tammy Newborn, aliens. What else could be the Separatists? Who else would be wanting this land? Who else would be wanting Corellia and Star Wars? Of course, it's the Empire. It's always the Empire. They're the real bad guys of Star Wars. I wonder how long the Empire's really existed for. Maybe it's been around longer than most people think. That's what a lot of them. A lot of people say that they've actually been around for longer. Most people realize now it sounds like I'm mumbling on about a bunch of gibberish, which is kind of what you do when you're playing this game. And you're just trying to figure things out. So that's another problem with this game too. All the time, I only know this game well because I play this game a lot for it, so I know all the objectives. I know what to do a lot in this game. But a lot of the time, this game is not very clear on what you're supposed to do, what your goals are. This game most of the time just leaves it up to you figure it out yourself. You do things for yourself. You play for the game yourself and figure it out yourself. If you're good at figuring things out, then you're good as gold. But if you're not good at figuring things out, then, well, you're gonna have trouble playing for this game. But hopefully, if you want to play this game and you watch this LP first, you'll know how to get through every level of the game. So it'll save you the trouble of having to figure things out for yourself. I know, I never watched any LPs of this game before I started playing it. That's because there weren't any LPs of this game on YouTube at the time I started playing this game. This game actually, I'm not sure I told a stream before, but I actually bought an N64 copy of this game on eBay back in 2014. It's supposed to take a few weeks to come in, but instead it took over a month to come in, and at one point the seller actually gave me a refund because he thought it wasn't going to come in. It's all because there was some big snowstorm somewhere. I forget where it was exactly. There was a big snowstorm around February, March 2014 somewhere. And a lot of the packages and a lot of things in the U.S. Postal Service were delayed at that time due to the snowstorm. But I wouldn't know because I don't live in those around there. But apparently I hear about it all the time. There's storms all the time. Storms always seem to miss me. I don't even get very many thunderstorms anymore. There was a tornado warning last week where I live, but there weren't even any tornadoes at all. It's a bunch of severe thunderstorms, and they did catastrophic damage to where they hit. But they never seem to hit where I am. It's like storms most of the time. They always seem to magically miss where I am. But when they do hit where I am, they're pretty drastic and severe. I know, I've never actually been for a tornado myself. I never have, but the closest I did one time there was on the opposite end of a city I was in once, got hit by a tornado once, and it got pretty devastated, pretty destroyed by the tornado. And that was the night I first saw Spaceballs, and it was also the night I beat Spider-Man on the PS1 for the first time. Those are some good days. I should do an LP of that game. Then again, I already did a video of the last level of that game. But yeah, I can do an LP of Spider-Man on the PS1 sometime in the future. I'm sure that would be pretty fun. And then I might even do an LP of the sequel, Spider-Man 2, Enter Electro, which wasn't as good as the original. And of course, you see here, Han Solo came in to bail us out.
Well, what are you doing here? How you doing, kid? Thought I might give you a hand. This is my own
the voice acting in this piece, I know this is a PC version, so this isn't saying much, but the voice acting in this version is pretty much the same as the voice acting in the N64 version. It's quite impressive, actually, that an N64 game could have fully fledged voice acting in it. You don't see that very much in N64 games. Sure, Star Fox did that a lot, but it was kind of annoying in that game. You're like, Fox, get this guy off me! And there's a lot of that. but really, the voice acting wasn't that bad. And N64 could handle some voice acting to an extent, but again, it wasn't very common for N64 games to have voice acting. I mean, Mario 64, Mario mostly just made sounds of his mouth, and occasionally there was some speaking, but not a lot. But then again, voice acting actually takes over, so you'd actually be surprised how much space voice acting takes up on a game cartridge. On those Sonic the Hedgehog game cartridges for the Sega Genesis, a good portion of the cartridge space was used up for that logo at the Sega logo at the beginning of the game. At the beginning they say Sega! Believe it or not, that little voice clip, that little sound clip, actually takes up a pretty substantial amount of space on the cartridge. You'd be surprised at how much more they could have put in that game if they didn't have that obnoxious Sega logo at the beginning of it. This is the first time we're taking down these AT-ATs, these AT-ATs. We're tying it down with our tow cable. Some interesting facts, contrast between this game and a similar game called Shadows of the Empire, we also did this with. In Star Wars Shadows of the Empire, it's possible to destroy AT-ATs just by laser fire, just by shooting at them with your lasers, but at the same time, you have limited tow cable. In this game, it is not possible to destroy AT-ATs just by using laser blasts, or at least it's very difficult to, very tricky to, possible. But you have unlimited tow cable in this game. You don't have to worry about running out of tow cable in this game, because this game is, not as realistic as Shadows of the Empire. Shadows of the Empire likes being more realistic. And there's those Star Wars X-Wing and TIE Fighter games, which are pretty much simulation games set in space, where we have to fly a real starcraft through some sort of... I actually played a demo for one of those games a few weeks ago. It's for Star Wars X-Wing Alliance. I might make a video of that demo, but that demo is pretty abysmal considering how they set it up. I heard a lot in the full game, all those levels are tested properly, and there's a lot of buggy BS moments, which apparently that seems to be a common thing in Star Wars games, as I've already pointed out by now. But yeah, I might eventually make a video of the demo version of Star Wars X-Wing Alliance. I don't really use cheat codes, but the demo allows you to cheat, so I do, and I still lose. Even when I cheat, I still lose, so, I just cheat for the video just so I can show you guys more what the demo is. I'm not even sure if that level's actually in the full game. I never played the full game of Star Wars X-Wing Alliance. But it wouldn't be the first. I mean, I played the demo for Star Wars Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast, and that level that gives you the demo isn't even in the full game. It's a level that was just made for the demo. I'll make a video of that eventually, too. There's a lot of Star Wars games that before I know it, I'm starting to become the next Super Vader Man. There's this guy we used to watch on YouTube a long time ago. He's still on YouTube. His name's Super Vader Man. He does a lot of LPs of, Star Wars games. He pretty much only LPs Star Wars games. He's like Star Wars galore. It's all Star Wars. It's always Star Wars this, Star Wars that. On his YouTube channel, he's just a Star Wars LPer, and I'm starting to become like him for the fact that I constantly LP Star Wars games. And again, the Star Wars games that I Let's Play, most of the Star Wars games that I've Let's Played are not the same Star Wars games he Let's Plays, if that makes any sense. He said he was going to do Rogue Squadron at one point, but he still hasn't to this date. He said he was going to do Jedi Knight, he was going to do an LP of Mysteries of the Sith. But he still hasn't yet, and I don't know, he says he got into game design or something. They went to school to take game design, and we haven't really heard from him since. But I'm sure he might come back someday. He's done that before, he leaves for long periods of time and comes back. He LP'd the Battlefront games, those are always fun to watch. But I don't think he LP'd Star Wars Episode 1 Jedi Power Battles, which I plan on doing an LP of that, and he also did an LP Star Wars Jedi Starfighter, which I eventually plan on doing an LP of myself, as I already said in the previous video. So, yeah, Star Wars galore, it's coming up. So, there's Crixmadine's shuttle. He's a rebel just defected to the, he was an Imperial defected to the Rebel Alliance. I kind of figured that, because he has an American accent, because Rebels have American accents, and Imperials always have English accents. You may not have noticed that yet, but that's kind of how it is in Star Wars. That's why Wedge in the movies, he was played by Ewan McGregor's uncle, Dennis Lawson, but because he has a Scottish accent, they had to dub his voice of an American voice actor for the movies. That's why he has an American accent. And so we saved everyone on Corellia. Whoop-de-doo, we saved Corellia. Oh, look, they destroyed a building.
It's all right, Luke. You held them off long enough. We evacuated everyone just in time, thanks to Captain Solo and Chewbacca. That was never my favorite building anyway.
Of course, it's not his favorite building. A lot of people would say that wasn't my favorite building, but after it gets destroyed, everyone starts to love it more. Kind of like the Twin Towers, if you know what I mean. So, this is Ray Phoenix, signing out.